And hello, everyone. Welcome. We are here for the last visibility masterclass of the year. And I'm just doing a double check here to make sure we are in fact live streaming, and I'm just checking. It looks like it might be glitching on us again. So I'm not sure what that is about. Okay, well, we will figure it out. So if you are seeing this on any of our platforms, wonderful, hashtag replay below. If you're trying to find this in our group and it's not showing up, we will add the replay in there right after we get off this call. So, all right. Well, I'm Heather Burgett, your host, as most of you know, and welcome to any of our newcomers that are seeing this content for the first time. And we have a really incredible global community. Feel free to type in the chat for those of you who are here in the Zoom room with me, where you're tuning in from around the globe. And if you're watching on any of our platforms, please write in the comment section. I always go and look and say hello to whoever is showing up and watching. You can hashtag replay if you're watching on the replay. And it's great to have you here. Okay, so we're going to jump right in to our content. So we have, let's see, 1 second while I get us set up here and get us into presenter mode. Beautiful. Okay, here it is. Here we come. Okay, can everyone see the screen here? The Ultimate Media Breakthrough, thumbs up. You're seeing it? Yeah, okay, good. It's happened before where it's not coming through, so I like to check. Or it's like half off the page or something. So great to see you all today. You're here for, this is part of our ongoing media series, the Ultimate Media Breakthrough, where we're here to support you with your PR and your visibility and getting your messages out there in a bigger way so you can make that bigger impact in the world. I already see we have people from all over joining us here today. So we always tend to have people from all over, US, Canada. I see Washington, Oregon, beautiful. And I will try to keep an eye on the chat here, but it's probably better. Oh, and there's South Africa even. Wow, awesome. I will try to keep an eye on the chat, but once I'm in presentation mode, it's probably better if you save your questions for the end. And if you do ask something in the chat and I miss it, please, again, like type it in at the end when I suggest we have a little time for Q&A. Okay, so really this is about you learning these are 3 of my signature key strategies to amplify your impact and authority. And the big bonus is this is without endless content creation or an expensive PR firm. I like to share my story with people so they know a little bit about where I came from. And my background was in film publicity. When I first worked in Hollywood, the first big project I worked on was the Blair Witch Project, which perhaps is one of the biggest successes ever for indie film. It's still to this day is one of the most profitable films ever made. And it really comes down to the PR, the marketing strategy, the positioning, which is so important when you're putting yourself out there in the world. And you can see the sky is the limit when you do a very good job at this. And you're here today because you're likely a woman in business who wants to make a bigger impact in the world. We do have men in my community too, so all are welcome. You want to be a sought after expert and be invited to share your story on stages and in the media. And you're really looking to reach more people organically, right? Without paid ads, without huge budgets, to spend on PR or marketing agencies, right? And so through this organic connection, you're really able to grow your community, have better and deeper connections with people, actually, find the right people and have the right people find you, and then turn that into currency. Okay, so what I like to share is what I've discovered is key and core to how I work with people on their PR and visibility, because my background is also in the healing arts. So I talk about visibility with a purpose. So first and foremost, we're always, getting into alignment first with the visibility vision. We'll talk about that a little more in a couple minutes here. But having that sustainable model that you are able to make the money, the monthly or yearly money goals that you're trying to make. it starts with having that sustainable business model and offering. Then you have your visibility and a PR plan that helps you, whatever you're trying to get out there, a message, a movement, a project, a service, maybe a nonprofit, right? That you are able to actually like make that happen through this aligned PR plan and visibility. And not only do people, they're able to find you, but they come pre-sold. They want to get involved with you and what you have. So I do have a give at the end today. So stick around until the end and we'll make sure we tell you about that. And if you're new to PR publicity, it really is about how you get attention of the people you want to reach that are outside your current network. And it really helps also establish you in a bigger way within your current network. And it helps people see you in the way you want to be received and perceived in the world. So let's just get a gauge on who's here in the room today. Or if you're watching, please feel free on replay, still engage and answer the questions. I always come and look to see what people said. Who here feels like they're kind of a beginner at this stuff? Put a B in the chat. If you feel like you're a little more advanced, go ahead and put an I for intermediate. And if you've really done a lot of this stuff and you feel like, okay, I'm just ready for my next level, but I've got a lot of this visibility stuff down, go ahead and put an A in the chat for advanced. So let's see. Okay, so we got some B's, I's, A. Okay, it's a good mix as always. So the good news is that, this is for anyone or everyone because we all have our next level of visibility. So whatever your next level is, it might be your first or your next media win. That's who we help. And why is publicity or PR so powerful? It is really about other people singing your praises, right? Other people saying you're great, not you saying you're great. A master at this is Sir Richard Branson. If you haven't seen the documentary on HBO Max about him, you can see how he incorporated publicity as a big strategy in all of his ventures throughout the years, starting with his student magazine and all the way through space travel. And his name and company are synonymous with him as the man. And him and his brand are probably like two of the most recognizable things on the planet, right? Everybody knows him. Everyone knows Virgin. So he is a great case study to look at to see, okay, this is the power of publicity. And you don't have to be Branson, though, to get those kind of results. I've worked with a lot of consultants, creatives, small business owners, entrepreneurs. Here's one example from a client who was able to 10x her income through the visibility successes that we helped her get for her business, and really took everything through the stratosphere, even getting approached by a media company to be paid to host a podcast. And now reoccurring regularly in Denver on local TV as a host or a special guest. And I think maybe that was a Freudian slip. I think potentially, who knows, they may be asking her to be a host, but she's doing a great job at her visibility. And who does this work for? Pretty much anyone and everyone who has a message, a movement, a product, a service, something, your talent, whatever it is you're trying to get out there in the world. In our community, we have a lot of founders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, coaches, creatives, spiritual practitioners, speakers, authors, the list goes on. So if you don't know your visibility archetype yet, I would highly recommend you take this short 5-question quiz, and you can go to Shine Superpower to do that. And let's see, I think Marie, she might just be able to pop that in there so you have it handy. But yes, this will take you to the 5-question quiz. And that really helps us see, like, where are you starting from with your visibility? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And we can go from there. So again, we do help 3 types of clients. So whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, we really do help you land your first or next media win. Catherine says she loves she loves that concept. So yes, good news for everybody. And the big message today I would love for you all to take away is that everyone is doing social media and or maybe even Facebook ads, and they're forgetting about having their PR strategy and plan for that aligned visibility journey. And what I would say is that there's a PR pie, and social media is a sliver on that. Facebook ads is a sliver on that. But there are so many other things and ways. And that's when it comes to us helping you with your PR, customized PR plan, that we can really help take you to your visibility to the next level, and even like someone like Rebecca, like through the stratosphere. So your business success path is this is also like a 5-step journey that I have, after 27 years of doing this work, I came up with this because I've seen so many clients over so many years and how the trajectory goes. So they're all, and all of you, like, right, you're starting with your purpose and your niche, like you're offering, like what it is that you're putting out into the world. Then you're having your offerings, like what is it that you're enrolling people to do, right? Whether it's to purchase your programs, buy your products, maybe if you have a nonprofit like Erin's here today, maybe it's to get donors and volunteers. So whatever you're trying to enroll or enlist people into doing, that's, you know, the next piece is having that thing and that way of doing it. And then what I will say is that the most important piece, and this is where we come in and where I come in, is helping people with their aligned visibility and a customized PR strategy and plan. And that is the thing that takes you to number 4, being seen as an expert with a full slate of clients or gigs. But the challenge is that most people are trying to jump a staircase here. They're trying to go from 2 to 4 without 3. And the good news is that with my clients, it goes beyond 4. They not only do they get to 4, but they get to 5, which is being seen as that go-to industry leader with that global impact and making that bigger global impact. And, you know, this is something I've been doing a very long time, and I've worked with household names, global leaders, Oscar winners, Grammy winners, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. There's Branson right there. I was lucky enough to be able to do an event with him. And it's been quite a ride and quite a journey. And I also practice what I teach. So my background was 20 years of being behind the scenes and hiding behind my clients, right? Pushing them into the spotlight and saying it's about them, it's not about me. And then, you know, when it came to my last living grandparent passing, my grandmother was one of my best friends. I was really messed up for like a whole year. Like the grief just knocked me out. I was really questioning what I was doing. My work was largely working with millionaires and billionaires and celebrities, and it just didn't feel as fulfilling as I had hoped. And when I lost my grandmother, I really thought, you know, I want to do something that would, you know, really have made her proud. And so I was really questioning everything that I was doing. And so I went on a soul searching trip to Bali, and that was where I was able to have my aha moment. And I realized, you know what, I can take what I'm doing, I don't have to throw it all out. I can just take it online and help more people. So being able to bring this information to people around the globe now is my greatest passion. And working with small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, consultants, coaches, creatives, like especially spiritual practitioners and healers, like I love doing this. This is why I get up every day. So, you know, I did start a few years back my online business, but it wasn't really until 2020 that I went all in. And that's where, you know, the pandemic hit, and I was really scared at the time. My whole PR business got wiped out. All our events were canceled. And I'd already started dabbling in the online space, but at this point I was like, what do I even do? And I looked to my 3 of my 4 grandparents who enlisted in World War II, our last global crisis, and they had enlisted in their purpose and their passion to, like, you know, help their, you know, help the world basically eradicate evil, and, you know, of course, help their families and protect, you know, their country and all of those things. So whatever they were passionate about, and, you know, felt like they really wanted to like make a change in the world, like that's what they did. They're like, I'm going to enlist. So that's for all of us now. What's happening in this latest like period of our human history is that people are feeling the pull to like be drafted into their purpose. Like you might go kicking and screaming, or they're just enlisting and saying, I'm going all in. So that's for you to kind of figure out, like, where are you in that? Are you Are you resisting being pulled into it? Are you actually enlisting yourself and saying, I'm going all in and doing whatever it takes to make this change in the world with my gifts? And so this is what I say, here it takes passion, commitment to your purpose. So when I leaned in, I decided I'm going to go all in on my online business. I started hosting live global 3-day live global events for my community. I launched a high ticket mastermind program. This is in May 2020. Very counterintuitive. I went into expansion when most of the world was going into contraction, but I had 2 of the best years that I've ever had in my business at that time. And everything went through the stratosphere. I actually hired a coach so I would know and understand how to do this stuff better. My investment, I was able to 40x that within 18 months. And, I did things like wrote for Forbes. I told my story in Forbes. I had been invited in because the LA chair saw what I was doing and thought I should be on the Forbes Business Council. So I will just say that at the moment where I was most scared and decided to take action and really lean in, that's where some of the biggest gifts and changes and miracles and things happen for me in my life and my business. So it's not to be underestimated to go all in on what you're doing. But what I can say about all of this is that what's probably missing right now from your plan or your business or your venture is a strategic PR plan, right? That really communicates you as the brand, right? And your message. So we'll tell some more stories as we go along here, but this is one of the biggest shifts I would say that most of the women who step in, or a lot of the women who have stepped in right away, this is like they realize, oh, okay. Like, for example, I had a filmmaker came in and she wanted to promote her film. Then within a very short time, she realized, oh, this isn't about the film. It's about me. It's about me stepping into more visibility, which will help me raise the visibility for my film, right? So having that mindset shift for a lot of people is really a big deal. So you can do this, having a plan that gets you out there without having to do, we say dancing on TikTok. If you like to do that, that's, you certainly can. But you don't have to be doing tons of social media, Facebook ads, hiring expensive agencies for ad campaigns, PR, marketing, and no endless random posting, like throwing spaghetti on the wall on your social media. So this is really about getting strategic with your time. And the only 3 ways you're going to get in front of new sets of eyes is through organic, affiliate, or paid traffic. And so everything I teach is around that organic traffic. And it really is about more results with less effort. People are often shocked at when I say, do you have 2 hours a week to implement? And if you can at least do that, you're going to see the needle move and get results. Because most people think, oh, this is going to take 40 hours a week or something insane like that. And I'm like, nope, just some real concerted effort. And even with delegation, if you have a team or you have an intern or a low-cost VA who can support you, you can really have a lot of progress in a short amount of time. So the big key right now to consider is that the press are seeking you. So getting yourself visible in the mainstream media is really going to take things to the next level for you. And that's just one of the paths and one of the ways to get that higher visibility. It's going to get you more authority, awareness, grow your audience. It gets you outside of your current circle and current network so that you can become that sought after go-to expert and your audience can come to you pre-sold. So here are just some examples of our clients getting into the press and places where they've appeared, whether it's TV, newspapers, magazines. And, that really still the traditional media, as we call this, is the mainstream media, is going to take your credibility to the next level. If you think of any biopic or biography that you've watched, series about famous people, and it's always the trajectory, right? Like the media is now all of a sudden they're being featured on, they always do that montage of the magazine covers flashing by and all the press. And so really that is such a sign of getting to that next level and, hitting that level of going from unknown to known. And that's what's possible for anyone here who wants to get out there in a bigger way. So Leslie is a great example. She had just done her TEDx talk and wanted to do a global announcement. She most recently landed herself an article with, our guidance on how to do all this in Entrepreneur Magazine, like a huge feature. And right after that, she got featured in a publication she didn't even pitch as one of the top 15 coaches in Barcelona. So imagine waking up to your inbox and seeing like you've been voted as a top whatever in your industry. So without even trying, right? Just by doing this kind of slow, steady activity throughout the year, like this is the magic that starts to happen. And the first big piece is claiming that visibility vision. So thinking about where would you actually want to be? What would be a dream visibility win for you? Do you have a favorite show, or maybe it's a podcast, or maybe you want to speak on a certain stage? And then think about what is the buzz that's happening about you, right? Like what are people talking about when you have achieved this kind of visibility? So really painting that picture is the first piece and the most important piece. So you've got to know where you're heading. And the next piece of it is feeling into that, feeling your visibility vision, knowing that it's possible. Like what's happening in your world? Are you making more money? Do you have a wait list of clients? Are you, think about those money goals and what that's going to look like to you. And really, this is the secret, the inner work. And that's where I start with everyone, because you have to embody that energy, frequency, the intention, and feel it as if it's already happened. And that's when it has a place to land. And then from there, that's where we implement the strategy. So we're using universal spiritual principles to accelerate your visibility path and results. And I would say Therese is a great example of this, like really being able to go from overwhelmed in her business to focused and lit up. She said that was the first time she was lit up in her business in a long time, because we really got the plan down and took her off all the things that were not important activities in her business. And she, at the time, was on track to reach 2 million people with her channeled angelic messages. I'm not quite sure where her numbers are at now, but she was doing great, getting herself out there, getting highly visible. And the second key for today to know is that you can start living your dream today. So it's really important that you get your gifts out there, whatever you came to do in this lifetime. There are people waiting for you and praying for you and what you have to give. So you're actually doing a disservice to not put yourself out there in a bigger way. So I'm all about visibility blocks, and first identifying, we have to know, one, where we want to go. Second, we need to know, well, what's stopping you from getting there? So if you're not getting to that vision yet, there are some, reasons why that's happening. So, and these are the things that are probably keeping you frustrated, cycling, like spinning those wheels. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're not having the prosperity you desire. And so what those reasons might be is that you're waiting. And I will say the biggest rookie mistake is to think this work is for other people or that it's for later, right? That is the biggest myth I am out there busting. If you hear me on any podcast or stage, like this is one of my very important messages to all of you. And then the second piece that I've seen as a pattern with small business owners is that they stop. They do a little bit of this work, and instead of continuing to build it into their business throughout the year and forever more in their business, they say, oh, I did a little of this and it didn't do anything. Well, it works when you work it. And I have in my Shine Online Mastermind, I have my 6 pillars that I teach. The whole pillar 6 is dedicated to leveraging your wins. If you're not leveraging and building momentum, that is a huge lost opportunity. Now, what are some of the reasons you might be holding yourself back? So I guarantee you it's one or both of these things. Pretty much everyone I've ever talked to that has come in that wanted to work with me or has worked with me has something stopping them. And sometimes it's limiting thinking or fears. Some people come in that are already very confident in putting themselves out there, but they're just not knowing how to do the plan and what the next steps are to get to that next level. So likely for you, it's one or both of these things. I would say the women that are typically out there already getting their message out in a lot of the ways that I'm talking about today, a lot of times it's just they don't know the steps or how to create the PR plan. Like that's, I think one of my gifts is being able to see, we're here and you want to go there, and I see the path in how to get you there. And so what are some of the ways this might be showing up in your life or your business or your work is, we have choice overload. That's like, we all know this. It's like we're being bombarded every day. So there's a lot of choices and options and ways to go. Sometimes we also give our clients choice overload. We've got to go back to basics and simplify. Keep it simple. Perfectionism. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Put in the chat if you're a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist. I know you're probably here because I tend to attract a lot of high performing women who that is something, we want everything to be perfect, but I've had to learn to let go of a lot of that. And it's better to get something out there and, make the mistakes, not be perfect. Like, hey, today our live streaming, I don't know if it's actually working, but whatever, we'll figure it out. Like you just have to be able to go with the flow. Yes, I see we have another recovering perfectionist in the Zoom chat there. Beautiful. So imposter syndrome, very common. Everyone knows this is that feeling of like, well, do I really know what I'm doing? Like someone's, else out there maybe is doing it better. Well, that kind of crosses over into the next one, compare and despair. So all of these things are pieces that might just be holding you back and stopping you. So this is a really big piece. If you are recognizing yourself in any of these statements, these were written in the chat from previous events by clients and community members, just take a moment and see if you resonate or recognize any of these things, if they resonate with like your personal journey on where maybe you have these thoughts or beliefs from time to time. So where might you be stopping yourself? And this is, part of being human. There's no judgment. So it's really just part of the process. We want to identify what those limiting beliefs or thoughts are or the fear. And then we want to, what I call flip the switch. So we want to create the opposite of what that thought is. So if it's, I'm not really an expert, then we want to say, I am an expert at what I do. People love my work, right? Or if it's, I'm worried what people are going to say or think or judge me. If they're going to judge me, then you would flip that to people love to hear about my stories and about my work, and they appreciate me, right? So you've got to shift those mindsets and get into that alignment with your vision for it to be able to land. So that is definitely a really big piece. So yeah, feel free if you want to share in the chat or in the comments below, like, where are you getting stuck on your vision, right? What are some of the things that are holding you back? And I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Give you guys a second if you want to chat, put it in the chat. And this is huge. So even if this is the one thing you identified today, it's going to start to shift things for you. Aaron says, I often feel like I have too many disparate things to say. Yeah. And where to start. That's another big one. I don't know where to start. I don't know the steps. Yeah. These are very common things. Yeah. What do I talk about? That's again, like kind of going into choice overload. Like there's a million things you could probably talk about. What do you want to be known for? Right. And when I work with people, we typically are looking at what you want to be known for and finding those pillars of content that wherever you go, like that's what people are going to see and hear from you. So you get to decide what you love to talk about the most, what people want to hear from you the most. And then ideally, it's the thing that people are willing to compensate you for. So if you want to be a paid speaker, right, this is a really important aspect to starting something like that. I'm in the process of rebranding and wondering how to use the PR to let people know. Right. So again, just not knowing how do you use PR, like how does it work? There's this mystique around it because it's not your wheelhouse, and you all have a wheelhouse that I'm not familiar with probably, or how to do, and I can't do your job, but I've been doing this for 27 years. So that's finding someone who can guide you through the process is paramount. So this is a great example of someone who did go from limiting beliefs and thoughts and fears to features and summer blockbusters. And, Giovanni actually broke out in hives when we met about her visibility. Like, even though she was on camera a lot as an actress, she was nervous about being in the media. But we guided her through the gauntlet. She was able to secure a ton of media and newspapers and magazines and radio and all over the place. And she's been in big features. She had a scene there with Hugh Jackman. And she was also just in the latest Guardians 3 movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. And so, I mean, basically she has said that her star meter is at an all-time high because of the work that we did. So no matter what you're trying to do, you're only going to see good things and positive things come out of this once you implement and start getting those results. Liz is also a very interesting story. She came to us as the executive director of a nonprofit. And she said in the beginning, like I told you that filmmaker story earlier, that she was here to raise the visibility of her nonprofit. And within a very short time, I think we're literally within about 30 to 60 days of coming into our community in Vortex, she realized, and even stepping into my program, it was like the aha moment for her was, I'm realizing this isn't about the nonprofit. This is about me and me stepping up. And the more I raise my visibility, the more I can help the women around the globe that we're trying to help through this nonprofit. And so she also was so inspired that she started a whole new revenue stream. She became a social impact coach and now has a thriving business with that. And she applied for a grant for female entrepreneurs. She said she never would have done that if she hadn't been working on her visibility and putting herself out there in a bigger way, and she won the grant. So, I mean, I could tell you countless stories like these where it's just so incredible to see with just a little bit of redirection and focus, and usually like auditing and like looking at the branding, where you've been, where you're going, like making sure your packaging is, reflective of your new positioning and messaging and where you're putting yourself out there. With just those little tweaks, everything can change. So this is about, again, leveraging your wins. So I will say that good PR is the thing that gets you known and puts you in the position to make and generate more money. And my signature system, I have my 6 pillars to shine online. And really, this is kind of just another way of looking at it and a breakdown. I call it the 5 Ps and the big O, because so many people want to get to that omnipresent level of being seen everywhere and being known, right? And recognized and acknowledged and having all that you want for your visibility vision. So really the path is first deciding what is the path, your PR plan, and then working on your positioning, which involves getting clarity on that messaging and packaging. Do you have the right materials to put out there? And then where are you showing up so people can find you? And then, of course, press power, which is one of my big, strengths, having worked in publicity for so many years, is really showing my clients how to fish, how to get those big visibility wins. And someone like Kriya did a fantastic job of taking things to the next level. She already was a leading expert, but we just needed to let the rest of the world know. So got her into, she basically did a podcast tour. She was in her industry trades. She started using her social media and she went viral on TikTok, and one video alone got over 400,000 views. And now with all the work that we did, she's now getting invited to speak on stages, to be paid and flown in. And she's making a really good income doing that. And she just did one in Vegas. The DEA flew her in for 1,800 high school students to talk about addiction prevention. I saw her recently because she was flown into LA area to do another talk, and, and paid substantially to do a 1 or 2 hour talk or workshop. So this stuff is pretty incredible once you get it rolling. And it's really, again, just knowing the steps of what to do. So as we're heading into 2024, now is the perfect time to be setting your PR plan. And we want you to be monetizing your specific magic that you have in the world. So key number 3 to take away from today is that there is money in your message, and we can establish you in the world in the right way, right? So that you can actually magnetize your audience, monetize your gifts. It's about getting you in front of more of the right people at the right time in the right way. And what I'd say this mini formula would be is aligned visibility plus connection and communication is what equals your currency. So really quickly, we'll just think about what is that monthly money goal? Where would you be happy, on a monthly basis that feels good to you, where you would have everything covered and maybe a little bit more? Like, what are you trying to generate on a monthly or even a yearly basis? And how far are you from that right now? Think of that gap, right? Now let's take that number of the gap and multiply that by 12 months. Now multiply it by 2 years. Now multiply it by 5 years, 10 years, right? So this is what it is actually costing you not to be pursuing and going all in on your vision and doing and taking the steps and implementing the one thing that you know is going to change everything. So we want you to create your PR plan. It's that simple. Like having the PR and visibility plan, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And you really want to be thinking about, especially as we head into the new year, there's 2 types of campaigns. There's evergreen, which we start building into your business monthly, year round, forevermore. And then there's project focused. So this, again, evergreen is pitching you year round as an expert. And so anyone who tells me I don't have anything to promote right now, you are wrong. You're here, you're watching, you're hearing this. It's you. You are the thing that we want to promote and get out there in a bigger way in 2024. And how do we do that? Well, we're going to tie your expertise into what's going on in the world, events, holidays, trends, right? This is a very easy thing to do once you know how to do it. And then the other piece is project campaigns. So maybe you have something big coming up, right? You want to do a launch, you have a book coming out, you're launching a new program, a new initiative, whatever it is. That's where you need to know how to back up and reverse engineer the timeline and do a proper push or PR campaign leading up to that date. So you'll have your evergreen going year round and then project based where you amp up around those specific times. It's typically anything that is timed to a release or street date. So the question is, why now? Why would you do this now instead of later? Well, I can tell you that this is the thing that's going to get you to the other side of your vision, right? And that the visibility is what takes you from unknown to known. And if we don't start now, we're going to be having this same conversation in another 6 months, right? Like there's the best time to plant a tree is today. And I like to share a little bit about my grandfather. Again, you saw him earlier. And he's one of my biggest inspirations because he was willing to put his life on the line in World War II. He flew 28 missions. He was a B-17 pilot, and that's his crew there. There's 10 of them. So there was about a 50% chance or more every time these guys went out that they would not return. And when one plane went down, that was 10 men. So this is the passion and purpose and willingness to invest and take risk that it takes to get to your end goal, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, if he could do this, I think I can lean into my purpose in business. And that's why I really dug deep because I'm naturally an introvert. It was not easy for me to start hosting 3-day live events for my community. But the more I did it, the more comfortable I got. And my passion for my purpose and helping others during a time of uncertainty. I'm very good at helping others thrive through uncertainty. I've done it for, my whole life. I've been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades, right? That this was the thing that I had to step in and go bigger with and be of service in the world. So if he can do that, I borrowed his courage. And I like to say, if you come into work with me, you get to be part of my crew and part of this legacy of courage that my grandfather started. So yes, I love my Papa. We called him Papa. So you're the perfect fit if, you're an established professional and you're looking for an easier way to reach your audience. Maybe you're currently spending too much time on things that aren't generating income for you. And, I have a variety of offerings. So I just will tell you really quickly that we have a special gift. However, I have some bad news. I normally give these on my masterclass, but my schedule is fully booked before I unplug for the holiday. But I still want you to put this in the chat if you're interested, if you feel ready, if you want to connect and do a free visibility audit, which gets my eyes on your situation and gives you at least one actionable item to move forward. And I will reach out to you in the DMs, and we'll see how we can help you. And at the very least, we'll make sure that we have you on the first on the list, the wait list, to get one of these calls in 2024 in early January. So for those of you who are interested, type ready in the chat. If you click on, and if you do go to that link, you're not going to see anything available. And we literally last night, my last appointment got taken. So I do apologize for that. And let's see, I see, Catherine says, I love become part of the legacy my Bappa created. Yes. Thank you for the quote. Yes. Like writing down the quote. I love that when people take notes in the chat. Awesome. And I see Birdie wants to chat in 2024. Absolutely. Yeah. So anyone who feels ready, go ahead, type that in there. And then I do have a first ever opportunity. So this is something I'm currently seeking 10 women in business for an accelerated 90-day version of my work, or this, the visibility work that I help people with. And that's going to be starting in mid to late January. And again, it's only for 10 women. I have started putting this out there. So we're starting to get a list of people who are interested. So if you think you might be one of those women, go ahead and type 90 in the chat. And again, we will make sure that we reach out to you to talk about that stuff. And if you really, just want to jump in and like connect, I would say the easiest way to do that is make sure we're friends on Facebook and then DM me on Messenger. That's going to be the easiest way to connect, especially before the holiday. And then for those of you who also are like, you know what, I don't know that I want to learn how to do this stuff. I just want someone to do it for me. We, especially those high performing women that I know, we have so many in our community. Write Amplify in the chat if you're interested in hearing more about my done for you services. And that's something else that we can talk about. So really, this is just a reminder, it's your time to shine. I'm here to support all of you with doing that. And I'm just so happy all of you were able to come out here today and join us. So I'm going to stop that and see some more amplifies coming through here. Beautiful. Some more numbers. Okay, great. And yeah, same thing on all of the platforms where this is live streaming, the ones that actually made it to. Go feel free to write underneath any of these ready 90 if you're interested in the 90-day journey, or done for you services, right? Amplify. And let's see, did I miss any questions? If anyone has questions, feel free to type them into the chat right now. If you have anything specific around what we covered today, any questions about the presentation, around how I help people, around how maybe one of these pieces might specifically help you or fit to your business, we can take another couple minutes here for anyone that has those questions. Let's see, I'm gonna take another sip of my tea. It's a lot to talk straight for an hour. I put honey and lemon in my tea, so tend to get a little scratchy there. Erin wants to know, yeah, absolutely. You can come off mute, sure. And we'll spotlight you too. Here we go.
I was just trying to figure out like how to put it all into words in the chat. I figured it'd be easier this way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much for all the good info.
Sure.
One question I had is, you were talking about several examples. The visibility is not for the organization, for the company, for the film, whatever. It's of you, the person. And I just wanted to hear you talk a little bit about what that looks like logistically. I'm just thinking about, I have 2 Instagram accounts. I have my own and I have one for my organization, so that's all. That's basically it. So I'm thinking about like, I can create my own pillars, but then what am I also over on the organization one? just if you could just help me get some clarity in that
Yeah,
area.
so this doesn't mean you're not promoting your things, right? It just means that you're the umbrella brand, right? So we, if you look at any like pretty well-known person, like a, famous author or celebrity, or maybe a, famous business coach or any of those people, it's always their name, right? So then thinking kind of like more of Instagram when you're looking at like, branding on, some of their platforms, it's always their name at the top. And then under that, they list the things they do. They have a book, they have a program, they have this venture, whatever it is. So that's what we're talking about. It's like we want people to get to know you as the face and name of what you want to be associated with, your project, your business, your company, your nonprofit. And all that you're going to do is step up and make yourself more visible to be out there talking about the organization, because people don't connect with logos, right? A business is like it's a logo. It's like there's an entity, right? They connect with people. So you are becoming synonymous with I know what yours is, because can we tell people I was invited to be an advisory board member, and I'm very excited about that. So participate Nepal. Erin does incredible work with the people of Nepal and bringing them medical care that was previously unavailable to them, and also helping them get back to their natural remedies and plants and things that they have in their region, to bring them back to true health. So, it's an incredible purpose and passion, and you go there. I came to your fundraiser, and I even have over here, I have my yak wool scarf that's almost like a blanket that I use.
Nice.
Beautiful. So really like starting to put yourself out there in a bigger way to talk about the stories like you did at the event, your presentation, like here are some of the statistics, here are some of the people, this is what's happening, these are the problems, right? Like it's one thing to read that on a website, but if I hear you telling me this story, it's a whole different experience. And that's where you start to magnetize people that are going to care more about the organization, because they're going to see and hear you telling your stories about it. Does that kind of help give a little framework around how that works?
Things clicking into place. Yes,
I
thank
love
you.
it. Yay. We love things clicking into place. Beautiful. And I see Catherine says we just answered her question in the answer to you. So that's why I say it's always great to ask your questions, because usually someone else has something similar in mind too. And I'm all about a holistic personal brand. So this is about really, we're all multidimensional. Most of us have more than one thing in one venture, and we have lots of areas of expertise. So it's packaging you up in a way that makes sense. So that's where I come, with this holistic personal branding, a soul aligned holistic personal brand that feels good and makes you feel lit up, and putting yourself out there in the way that you get to be all of you and all of your facets. Because especially we have a lot of creatives in the community too, like they're kind of confused at like, how do I do this and I do that? Like, how do I put it all together? And so again, that's where I really help people come up with that holistic personal branding. So yes, great question, Erin. Glad to see you here today and hear that
Thank you.
looking in. Are you good? Do you feel complete, or do you have
Yeah, good. Just one comment. It's just so I can see how it's so valuable because it's for all of us here. It's just so hard to see all the pieces, like when you're inside of it, it's all like swirling around you. It feels like a massive confusion that can never be, you know, cleared up, but it looks much different from the outside. So I just think it's a really valuable service you're offering.
Oh, thank you. I received that. I love hearing that. And great. Thank you for the feedback. Yes, it's always nice to know how is this landing. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing this 27 years. So it's like I can see like all those things you're talking about that are swirling around. Like for me, they go like
Yeah.
they line up. Like to me, I see, okay, we focus here, we let that go, we do this. Like, so that's the gift of I guess I would say we all have our genius zone, right? And I know that's one of my core differentiators is my genius zone of being able to merge the spiritual kind of life alignment pieces with the business. I call myself a transformational business coach with the PR and marketing consultation. So really bringing, if you're a soul-led woman in business, if you have a business and you aren't getting out there, like really it's all the pieces coming together in a really fantastic way. So Yes. So for all of you who did say you're interested in connecting, we'll definitely do our best to get to you before the holiday. Dr. Catherine says, I love how you identify your zone of genius, Heather. Beautiful. Thank you for that feedback, Catherine. I'm so glad we got to spend some time today, Erin. I'm going to take you off spotlight here and just see if we have any last questions. Thank you so much for asking your question, Erin. I think you asked something a lot of people needed answered and needed to hear today. And it looks like I think we're good here. So, all right, with that, I think we're going to wrap up, call it a day. This is our last live event of the year. Oh my gosh. It's been so exciting. I love doing these live global events with all of you who, come out and watch or watch on the replay. Say hello if you're watching this later. And I will be around for another week or so in the community. And then it's the holidays. So I wish all of you a very, very happy holiday. And we'll definitely be seeing you in the coming year. So big hugs, big gratitude. Happy holidays to all. All right. Love you guys. Have a good one. You're very welcome.